Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to this video where I'm going to be talking about how I got into this beautiful place, UNC Chapel Hill. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be not only just talking about my stats, my ECs, what my essays were about and all of that kind of stuff, but last semester I actually had the chance to go to a document appointment at UNC, and what that is basically they took me into this room and they showed me my actual application, like everything that I submitted and the people who read its comments. So through that I was able to get a lot more like actual insight into how admissions actually works and what they look for in people. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say all of it, but I'll give you guys as much as I can. I'll get into that a little bit at the end. But for now, jumping right into my basic stats, they honestly were not that amazing. Like, they were good, don't get me wrong, but they were pretty average on UNC standards. My SAT was a 1460, which was a 780 in math and a 680 in reading. It was my second try at it. My first time I got a 1400, and I also took the essay that time. But after realizing that UNC didn't really require the essay, nor did they really recommend it, I decided not to take it my second try, and I think that was definitely the way to go, and I improved by 60 points. And I believe I took it the August right before my senior year. My ACT was a 31. I took that towards the end of my junior year, so I don't really remember my sub scores at all. If I can find them, I'll put them here. But what I do remember is I absolutely hated the reading part of the ACT. I know a lot of people say it's like the easiest part. To me, it definitely wasn't. I also remember I wasn't really confident about the science section, but I ended up doing better than expected, and math and English were pretty average. My GPA was, I honestly do not remember my GPA. Does Common App still have it saved? This website looks so different now, what the heck. Yeah, there it is. My GPA was a 4.32 weighted on my school scale, and I believe that was a 3.78 unweighted. And throughout our 32 classes in high school, I think I got 8 or 9 Bs, 2 or 3 of those being after I submitted this application, so I don't think those were factored in, which again, looking at it from UNC standpoint, is pretty average, but just that GPA didn't tell the whole story. See, I got 1 B in freshman year, and then I got 4 Bs in sophomore year. That was definitely my worst year of high school grades-wise, but then next year, junior year, which is widely considered to be the hardest year in high school, and it was for me. I took like 4 or 5 APs that year. I only ended up getting 1 B, which I definitely grinded for, but it paid off because, as I'll get into later, showing that improvement, that upward trend in grades from sophomore to junior year was definitely one of the things that got me into Chapel Hill. And then for the last of my actual numerical stats that I submitted, AP scores. I don't think these are really considered all that much admissions-wise. They're mainly just for credit once you do get in. But for what it's worth, I took 3 AP tests in my sophomore year and 4 in my junior year, of which I got 1 3, 4 4s, and 2 5s. Alright, now getting into my extracurriculars, things start to get a bit more interesting, but again, I didn't really do anything that was super amazing. In school, I think my biggest thing was DECA, which I'm sure most of you know, but if you don't, it's a business club that a ton of people join, so there wasn't really anything too special about that. I guess what was special was in my junior year, I placed 3rd in the state for my event that I did, and so I got to go to Atlanta and go to nationals. Didn't end up placing anything there. And then in my sophomore and senior year, I didn't even make nationals. So it's definitely the club I put the most time into, and it was only really rewarded in junior year, but that's okay, no regrets. Going to Greensboro every year was super fun, and I have a lot of my favorite memories from that club. I was in 2 other clubs in school, MIT Launch and Model UN, both of which I was in for only 1 year each, and I didn't really win or do anything crazy in either of those, so there's that. Outside of school, I didn't really have any work/employment experience. I had 2 volunteering things. One of them was as like an assistant counselor at a summer camp for 4 or 5 weeks in the summer between my sophomore and junior year, and then the other one was just a local nonprofit that I volunteered in a few nights here and there. And then I think I even put YouTube at the bottom of my activities list because at the time I was just making random like flying videos and stuff like that, and I had like 30,000 total views. I figured just why not. It was something I like to do, so I added it. Other than that, there was one thing I did that I don't think many, if anybody else in my grade did, and that was in the summer between my junior and senior year, I took 2 classes at UNC. Now, we had to pull some strings to make this happen. There was a lot of emails back and forth. They were like, are you sure you want to do this? This might not be a good idea. I kept telling my mom, nah, this is not going to turn out well. But we went through with it, and I quickly realized in the first couple of days that college classes are a lot harder than high school classes. So I grinded like every single day of that summer session, every hour into both these classes. And in the end, I ended up with an A in econ and an A- in stat. And that felt really good, especially as not even a high school senior yet. Shout out to my mom for making me do those, even though I kept telling her no. To this day, I'm not sure how much that actually helped me. It might have been the tipping point that got me in, or it might have barely helped at all. Either way, I don't regret it at all. I think that was a really productive way I spent that summer, and it even gave me much needed credits that I would have had to take last year. But yeah, that's basically it for my extracurriculars. Again, I saw a lot of people coming out of high school with better stuff than that, but that's everything that I had. Okay, now I'm going to quickly touch on my essays before getting to the part that you all are waiting for about what I saw when I went to admissions. So I did my Common App on the prompt that was like about what do you find most engaging to you or something like that. And I wrote about my interest and my passion in the world and traveling, and how I researched a bunch of countries that not many people knew about because I felt that was important to me and it was really interesting to me. So I wasn't telling them what they wanted to hear. I was just telling them more about me, which is what they want to see in your essays. More about who you are as a person, not who you are on paper, like stuff that they won't be able to see in any other parts of your application, which is why I didn't write about any like accomplishments like my DECA placing and stuff like that. For my UNC specific essays, they were honestly not that great. The first one was about like the what perspective would you bring to UNC thing. I kind of tied it into my Common App, and I was like, my perspective after traveling and learning about the world. I can share that with my classmates who might not know that much or haven't been to many other places. And then my second one was like, what would you change about the place in which you live? I don't even want to talk about what I wrote for that one. It was not a good idea. I'll spoil a bit of the next part. The reader said that my essay on that was very interesting, which I don't think was written in a positive connotation, but yeah, those are the two prompts that I did. Okay, so getting into what I saw when I went to the admissions office to see my application. I learned quite a bit. So the whole process is done by, they give your application to 2 different readers, and then they read over everything and then make the decision between admit, waitlist, and deny. And if both the readers came to the same decision, then that's what your decision is going to be. And if they don't, then it will go to a 3rd reader or like a committee or something like that. And what I found was that I was actually waitlisted by one reader and then accepted by the other. I called it in my decision reaction. I think I'm like right on the border for this one. I could definitely see a waitlist or an acceptance about to happen. So whoever was my 3rd reader or whatever people decided that I got in, thank you. I'm very grateful for that. I love UNC. But yeah, let's talk about how you get that decision. So there wasn't too much comment on the application itself, except just like 2 or 3 lines at the end, which I mean makes sense because they have to go through so many of them. But there was also a numerical ranking part of it. I'm not sure how much weight these actually have and if they have like cutoffs or something, but they had 4 different categories, each of which they rank you from 1 to 10 on. And they're pretty much what you'd expect. I won't say explicitly what they are, but let's just say progression is important. Like how I did, I got not great grades in sophomore year, but then I improved a lot in junior year. That's pretty important. Your academic performance in general is also quite important. They definitely pay attention to your extracurriculars, and they pay attention to the quality of who you are as a person, and that is mainly demonstrated through your essays. Take from that what you will. Again, I'm not sure how much weight these actually carry, but I saw that I got a 10 on one of the categories and a 3 on the other categories, and I still made it in. So don't worry if one of what you think is a category is not that good. So as far as the actual comments that they wrote about my application, they mentioned academic rigor as one of the main things that got me in, which again, I'm not sure if that includes the classes I took at UNC or if they're just looking at my high school class schedule, which was pretty rigorous, but that was one of the main things that they looked at. They also noted I have a love for country, so again, they do read your essays and they want to learn more about you, so that was from my Common App. They also said I had sporadic extracurriculars and a lack of commitment, which I can understand because I wasn't really involved in anything for longer than like a year other than DECA, and all my extracurriculars were all around the place. So you can tell that they knew that my ECs weren't that amazing. They also mentioned that I trended in the right direction, as I mentioned twice already, and that my testing was quote-unquote solid, which I assume they mean as like slightly above average. and whoever that mystery person that waitlisted me was said it was because of my lack of involvement, which again I can understand, and for my writing, so my essays. This also goes to show they look at every single part of your application, not one part of it. So like if you have not great extracurriculars, a good essay can go a long way in saving that. Or if you don't have the best grades, having amazing extracurriculars can save that, which I think is a good thing. Alright, that's going to be all the information I have from that. Hopefully that was a bit insightful and helps you put things more into perspective for whatever stage you're at in the college application process. It's a grind, but at the end of it, what you've done in high school is what you've done. You can't go back and change it. If you still have time to work on it and improve stuff, then do that. But if you're already at your senior year, you've probably done more than you've realized, and it's worth a shot. Apply to UNC. When I applied, I thought there was like a 20-30% chance that I was actually going to get in, and here we are. I got admitted on the first try. Make sure you have people read over your essays. Don't forget to include things that you're passionate about in your essays or in your activities wherever you can. Just have the university learn more about you, and hopefully Carolina will be your next home, and I will see you guys on campus. But whatever it is, y'all gonna do great. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. I will see you all later. Peace out.